Hello, everyone.
Hello. Salam.
Thank you so much for being here. It is so heartwarming to see the community of Cape Town stand up like this. It is also very significant that this march is happening in South River today, as it remains the only community in South Africa to have dedicated so many of its walls to raising awareness around Palestine. The role that art has to play in protest is a legacy that we come from as South Africans. I stand here today as a journalist to speak about the role that the media has played in the genocide of Palestinians. We have witnessed a divided media over the last 2 weeks, one to be embarrassed by and one we can only marvel at. On the one hand, we have had Western journalists lie to the public, present biased, unbalanced reporting in mainstream publications, and then retract their statements. We have seen over and over again how interviewers have badgered and disrespected speakers of Palestinian descent on their shows. They have become emboldened propaganda machines. They have dehumanized Palestinian lives. Many broadcasters like the BBC have fired journalists who have shown their support for Palestine. The dangers of spreading fake news in mainstream publications is that it is allowed to justify a genocide. Most of the outrageous claims have had to be retracted. These irresponsible reports have directly led to new levels of Islamophobia all over the world. Palestinian rights and activist Mohammed Al-Kurd wrote, "This is a familiar playbook. A claim is circulated without evidence. Western journalists spread it like wildfire. Diplomats and politicians parrot it. A narrative is built, the general public believes it, and the damage is done." But the most damaging of all in the last 2 weeks was President Joe Biden making a press statement about beheaded babies, which led directly to a crazed white supremacist American murdering a 6-year-old child a few days later. On the other hand, we have seen Palestinian journalists become heroes. They come onto our screens with tired faces, not knowing if they've managed to eat or sleep, committed to showing us the truth of what is happening every second of the day without having electricity or safety, putting their lives on the line, not for money or for propaganda, but because of the importance of sharing knowledge that could save lives. There is an example of journalist Mutaz Aziza, who is on the ground in Gaza, who is reported daily with dead bodies all around him, mentioning repeatedly that he may not survive the night. We have seen videos of journalists helping to carry bodies and dead babies into ambulances. We have also seen journalists break down in horror at the news of their family members dying. Another important factor to remember is that journalists and paramedics are protected under international humanitarian law. Already over the past 2 decades, no accountability was taken for the 20 journalists Israel had killed since 2001. This does not include the recent attacks in Gaza. In recent weeks, media houses have been bombed and journalists have been forced to evacuate their homes. The electricity blackout means impossible working conditions for those who are still able to report, but also means there's a lot happening that simply cannot be reported and hence removes accountability. Tragically, last night the news reached that Israel has deliberately targeted and murdered 17 journalists in the last 2 weeks alone. On another note, the rise of what is known as citizen journalism has been astounding. Also referred to as guerrilla or street journalism, it is when the public plays an active role in reporting, and social media has elevated this. It is due to these accounts on the ground that we have a clear understanding of what is happening. Brave, ordinary citizens risking their lives to expose the truth. This week we have seen many of them call out CNN for having blood on their hands. This then comes back to all of you who have taken time to share all of this content as an attempt to educate and shift the narrative. The reason we are sharing all of this material, as difficult as it is to watch, is to extend and amplify the voices of the Palestinians. Every person who raises awareness of what is happening in Palestine is helping the cause, even if it may not seem like it, so please do not stop. We have hopefully reached a new level of global consciousness that will continue into the future. Finally, It is apt that we started the march today at the mural of Shireen Abu Akleh, the Palestinian-American journalist who worked for Al Jazeera, who was killed by a bullet to the back of her head by an Israeli sniper on 11th of May 2022. Her death was initially blamed on the Palestinian militants by Israel, and by the time her case was verified, no one was paying attention to the news. A year after her death, on the 12th of May 2023, the Israeli Defense Force apologized for her murder. This is extremely important to note, as the very same situation is unfolding with the Al Ahli Hospital massacre that took place a few days ago. As journalists, we stand committed to ethics and to telling the truth about injustice. And I assure you, if you do your homework, there are those still left committed to doing this work. Before I go, I would like to send a reminder that the struggle is one we face on home soil too. That we too are still fighting here, and that it is up to us to continue exposing injustice right in front of us every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Atiyyah. Atiyyah has raised very important points about our media. And we have a serious problem in this country with our mainstream media. There are two that come to mind that openly support Israel